Welcome to the show, everybody. Joseph Robert, the fantasy football counselor. In this video, we're talking about 5 late round sleepers that you could target that could potentially break out, okay? I want to talk about some deeper sleepers here. I want to dive in to some guys there that are completely off people's radars that are really good value. So definitely sleepers here that you want to address and target in your draft, okay? Now with these sleepers, again, the ceiling is high, the opportunity is there, but people are just completely sleeping on them. They're not seeing the upside. They're going later in drafts. One guy here is kind of in mid draft, not really super late, but I got to mention him because, again, everyone's sleeping on him. So 5 sleepers, some later round guys you could target to help you guys with your draft. Exciting episode. Before I get into this, I got a couple major announcements. First and foremost, by the time you're listening to this, I am recording this on June 21st, which is Father's Day. So I want to wish everybody a happy Father's Day. And a quick backstory with me in under a minute here. My dad passed away exactly 5 years ago today, which happened to be a Sunday and Father's Day. It was 3 a.m. in the morning. He had fallen to he had a heart attack while he was mowing the lawn. Very tragic, very sad, still upset about it, and I think about it every day. But it's been one of the main drivers for me to really succeed and take over the fantasy football industry because we had humble beginnings. There wasn't a lot of money that he had. We didn't have a lot of money growing up. So I do what I do for him. And I'm out here to leave a legacy and really help you guys, not only dominate your leagues, but hopefully inspire you to show you guys that you could take a brand literally from nothing and build it up to a major empire, which is what is happening. I've only been at this is going into my 5th year. So huge progress. Again, I started my Instagram page and I took over Instagram and I cornered that market for fantasy football. I started that back. He passed away, it was June 2015. I started that in around August. I've been posting every day since, crushing it there, here on YouTube, here on the podcast as well. Started the podcast May 2016. So again, I do this for you. There's a lot of passion and heart here, but the point I'm trying to make is appreciate your dad, your father, your grandfather, and really, I mean, you only have one father, so just tell them you love them, and give them a hug today. That's pretty much what I wanted to say in regards to that. Also, continue on with the legacy. What I mean by that is I want to give other people an opportunity to really succeed. So I created something to help take over the mainstream for news analysis, because that's one of the main reasons I started my podcast, because I got sick of the mainstream analysis, the cookie cutter, the fake BS. So I'm creating a network called Fan to Fan. Now there's a link here for Twitch. So I encourage you guys, or if you guys are listening in the car, head on over to Twitch, create an account and follow FTFN, that's Fan to Fan Network. Just follow and subscribe and turn on notifications there. I'm telling you guys, we are taking over the sports industry via Twitch. It's going to be phenomenal. We're launching the website. What it is, guys, going to be all the top YouTubers and their channels all into one feed on the website. So you're going to get the Arizona guy, you're going to get the Ravens guy, you're going to get the Cowboys guy, you're going to get the Philly guy, all on one page. And we're all coming together collectively as a voice. And I'm going to show you guys how sports analysis and news should be done, okay? So that's coming in July for the website, and we're going to start broadcasting on Twitch in August. Super exciting. Let me actually show you a quick teaser trailer. Let's roll it real quick. So there it is, guys. Quick teaser there. Now, if you're in the car, you listen to about a 15-second piece of audio there and some music. But listen, guys, I'm beyond excited. Follow at Fan to Fan Network on Insta and FTFN on Twitch. This is going to take over the sports industry. Super passionate influencers coming together one spot. Going to be exciting. All right, let's go to these 5 late round sleepers. Let's go with the guy that isn't a late round. Too late anyway. You can get this guy in and around 6 to round 8 on average, but he's sitting 37th amongst wide receivers. The guy I'm talking about is Brandin Cooks. Why do I like Brandin Cooks so much? Well, it's all about opportunity, right? So when I look at Brandin Cooks, everyone's sleeping on him. They're looking at a guy like Will Fuller who's on the team with the Texans. Now, Cooks is now with Deshaun Watson, so he's got a nice little, I wouldn't say upgrade, but he's got a good quarterback throwing to him. Now, you got to understand that 7 touchdowns and 150 targets approximately are available to be had, because that's what Hopkins had last year. Hopkins no longer there. Cooks could really step into this role and do pretty damn well. Now, this guy is a guy that if you go with a robust RB strategy, so if you go first 4 running backs, then you go like a T.Y. Hilton, Calvin Ridley, someone like that, you can get Cooks as your wide receiver too, in around round 6, 7, right? If you want to get him a little earlier, people don't snipe him from you. But I'm getting him around round 6 and 7. I feel pretty comfortable there because he's technically the wide receiver 1. And he is a sleeper because, again, everyone's sleeping on him. He's technically the wide receiver 1, and 150 targets are freed up with Hopkins not being there. Will Fuller has not finished the season. I looked at his stats, not finished the season. I think back in a couple of years ago, 2017 or 16, he had 92 targets. That was kind of his peak. He can't finish the season, this guy. So Cooks is going to come in. I know he's had some injuries, concussions, stuff like that. But listen, he's great value, mid-draft there. And he's technically a wide receiver 1 with a high ceiling and a lot of opportunity of volume there potentially. Brandin Cooks, a good sleeper. I want to say deep sleeper. All right, so let's move on to another sleeper here. You've heard me talk about this guy a lot, and his ADP is rising steadily. And if you are doing a draft, make sure you target him. The guy I'm talking about is Alexander Mattison. Now, Dalvin Cook clearly wants the big contract. Clearly, they've got Mattison there for a reason because they know he could perform just as good as Dalvin Cook, averaging 4.6 yards per carry on the 100 attempts. Mattison, Dalvin Cook, 4.5 yards per carry. And if that little bite-sized 100 attempts, he had over 400 plus rushing yards on the ground, that bite size shows that projected out, he can outdo Dalvin Cook if given that volume. So when you look at a guy like Mattison, he's a good sleeper. You can get him late round. I see him coming off as early as round 8, but typically comes off after round 10. So Mattison's a guy you want to snipe. You want to get this guy on your roster. But if you are going robust RB, getting 4 running backs the first 4 rounds, you may not want him, but he is there as insurance, a guy that could be an RB1. Now, I get this all the time. People are like, well, Joe, why don't I just get Dalvin Cook and then, handcuff him with Mattison? I'm like, why don't you get yourself a Josh Jacobs or Derrick Henry or an Alvin Kamara and then get Mattison? Now you've got 2 RB1s. Does that make sense? So I love Mattison. Great value, deeper sleeper. And I absolutely think he's going to be tearing it up this year because I don't think they're going to pay Cook. Cook's going to hold out. Now, here's the thing. If Cook holds out here, that's really stupid because Mattison's going to come in the first couple of weeks, tear it up, and then Cook will be an afterthought. They'll just cut him. Listen, I love Mattison this year. Absolute steal. Next guy I want to talk about is a quarterback sleeper here for you. The guy I'm talking about is Drew Lock. Listen, we only have a bite-sized sample of what he can do. We didn't see much last year, so I'm not going to dive into it. He played like 3 or 4 games. Listen, this guy's in an opportunity to really succeed. He's a deep sleeper. He's sitting 23rd. By the way, Mattison's sitting 47th amongst running backs, okay? Brandin Cooks 37th amongst wide receivers on the Sheeps' the consensus rankings. Drew Lock sitting at 23rd amongst quarterbacks, okay? So he is definitely going to be a steal as a backup quarterback with massive upside. Ton of volume potentially he could throw out to a lot of guys. Now, when you're looking at Cortland Sutton and his receivers, Jerry Jeudy, who was drafted by the Broncos, one of the top wide receivers coming out of the draft, and they got Hamler, they got Fant, they got Melvin Gordon. There's a lot of guys out there. It's going to be a lot of distribution amongst everybody. He's probably going to favor certain guys. Maybe it's Noah Fant, maybe it's Sutton. We don't know. But I will tell you, this favors him. Similar to Tom Brady, these guys have a lot of targets, but, I wouldn't necessarily be comfortable drafting a Hamler or a Jeudy, even though they could emerge because there's so many mouths to feed, so many good guys. But I love it for the quarterback perspective because he has a lot of good talent around him, which means lots of points potentially for Drew Lock. Backup quarterback, guys, super late. You get him like pretty much for free after the 12th round. Nobody's really looking at him because nobody's seen much out of him, right? And if you anchor yourself with a good quarterback, a solid quarterback earlier on, like I say round 7, to say you get a Dak Kyler coming off round 5 or a Josh Allen round 6 or 7, Matt Ryan round 7-ish, same with Russell Wilson, then you get this guy as a backup, you're pretty locked and loaded. No pun intended, Drew Lock, okay? Locked and loaded. All right, next guy here. I've talked about him in my breakout episode. I just did it. Guy I'm talking about is Alan Lazard. Listen, this guy's a sleeper. He's always there near the end, last couple picks there. Always there. Everyone's sleeping on him. He's sitting 63rd amongst wide receiver consensus rankings. Love the upside. Love the opportunity for Alan Lazard. I only assume that Aaron Rodgers, chip on his shoulder, everyone's saying he's washed up, starts throwing the ball more, and this guy's going to be a beneficiary because he stepped up as the wide receiver too. I'm not sold on Funchess, not sold on MVS. Valdez-Scaling did nothing last year. Allison's no longer there. Lazard's the guy. He had a couple of breakout games. He could probably be in every play there. Adams sees double coverage. Lazard's open there. If Adams gets hurt again, why not? I mean, you're technically getting the wide receiver too for absolutely free. Adams is going round 1. Lazard for free. What a late round deep sleeper. Love the upside. Love the opportunity. Why not? Stash him on your bench. You got yourself arguably the wide receiver 2 on the team. Because last year everybody was all over MVS and Allison. There was a big debate on who it's going to be. I kind of stayed away from them. And the bottom line is Lazard, I mean, you're getting them for free now. You're technically getting the wide receiver too. Love the upside and a deep fantasy football sleeper 2020. Last guy here is a running back. The guy I'm talking about is Joshua Kelley, sitting at what? He's like 73rd amongst running backs. Big time late round sleeper. I'll tell you why. Joshua Kelley is coming in, had a good college season in his last year playing. He had 229 attempts, 1,060 yards, 4.6 yards per carry, and 12 touchdowns on the ground. He caught a couple balls as well. Now, here's what I like about him. He is going into an opportunity with the Chargers where Jackson's done nothing there. He's technically kind of the guy behind Austin Eckler now. Eckler's kind of been paid a little bit, incentivized, but Eckler's not a full workhorse running back, and his ADP is in and around round 2 to 3. So why would I invest in Eckler, who's not a full workhorse running back, who's only maxed out at 132 attempts on the ground, when I can get Joshua Kelley later because his ceiling is high, 5'11", 212. You know, he's kind of that prototypical body type of a workhorse running back, and he's great value. He's an absolute steal in your drafts. The Chargers obviously see something in him, or they wouldn't have acquired him. Absolute steal, Joshua Kelley. And listen, guys, Melvin Gordon had 162 attempts on the ground and didn't have the greatest year. But listen, I mean, Melvin Gordon was technically the wide receiver one, running back one. Now you got Kelley. You're paying nothing. You stash him on your bench. Could be the starter there. I know Eckler's good, but he's more of a pass-catching PPR guy. But if you're looking at this guy, you get him for free. Could be a compliment to Eckler the other way around. Could be the starter, right? If he takes off, he's the hot hand. You never know, right? Deep sleeper, late, stash him, nothing to lose. There is other guys like Zach Moss, AJ Dillon, you can get super late as well. They could, McFarland for the Steelers. But I like Joshua Kelley. He could really emerge here as a late round sleeper. Love him. So there you have it, guys. 5 late round sleepers minus Brandin Cooks, but I had to mention him because he's a sleeper. Had to talk about him. Love the upside. And there was 150 free up targets with Hopkins gone. Absolutely had to talk about it. So Mattison, Drew Lock, Brandin Cooks, Alan Lazard, Joshua Kelley, some late round guys. Stash them on your bench. You'll be pleasantly surprised as a couple of these guys could really go off and their ADP could rise this season, okay? And there's tight end sleepers. There's other sleepers, guys, I could get into. I'm going to link an article here below on YouTube. You go to my sleeper article to get you guys a little more sleepers. And, of course, get the 16-round draft solution at thefantasyfootballcounts.com to dominate your leagues. I'm out, guys. Thanks for being here, and I will see you guys in the next video.